fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Comic Edition Decepticon STRAXUS from the Transformers Generations line from Hasbro. I'm really excited for this one. First of all, I love this packaging. This is my first foray into the Comic Edition series. I think this is third in the line so far. First up, they did Grimlock, which looks good, very comic accurate, and he comes with the crown and everything, which is really cool. Does come with the swords for the other Dinobots, so they kind of want you to buy that to get those. But I kind of held off just because I already have 3 or 4 of that Grimlock mold. Then they did Shockwave, which again looked nice, but I already have the mold, so kind of wanted to hold off. But this one I had to get. STRAXUS is technically not all new. He is a repaint / retool of Kingdom Galvatron, but I feel like enough is new here and is such a niche character that of course he's not going to get a brand new mold for himself, and they did a nice job with it. So I'm excited for this one, but I absolutely love this packaging. I kind of want the others just for the packaging, maybe if there's a sale or something, but I love, evoking the old Marvel comics. I think that's so cool. They did such a nice job with this. I love that old font. You got Optimus here in the corner. All this just looks really, really cool. And then down here, of course, we got the 40th anniversary logo. All this just it's so funny to see these, how like ridiculously red Blaster was done. Like even his legs and his hands and everything are red. Just kind of, I guess, how they did it. Like you can see STRAXUS here is mostly blue. The figure is going to have a little bit more color than that. But still, just such a product of their time. Definitely nostalgic. And I just think it's so cool how well they've recreated this packaging here. The other thing is over here on the side. Again, brilliant artwork. But you can see here's Grimlock's tail, and then there's a fist of somebody else over here. So these have spine art. If you guys know me at all, I am a sucker for spine art. I absolutely love it. So that really makes me want to get the other two as well to display that. But maybe one day. But just still really, really cool art here on the side. Over here on this side, you have like a couple panels of the comic done in like a, black and gray here. So just kind of really neat. And then over here on the back, we have a couple more panels. I have to pay special attention to this one down here where Blaster is seemingly kicking him in the butt. Just bonk. I don't know. I think that's fantastic. Also, you'll notice his legs are gray here, unlike the cover. And then we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the cannon mode, vehicle mode. I don't know what we're calling this. You can see, I think it's over here, they show it kind of flying around in the cannon mode, so we'll just say alt mode. But the other cool thing about this, you can actually open these up. They have some Velcro. Got some ASMR there for you with the Velcro sound. Got a little bit more artwork on the side, and then it's just open packaging. I kind of do wish that this had, the plastic cover. It doesn't need it, but it would be nice. But in any case, there he is in all his glory. Loving the color scheme there. Pretty excited for this one. So I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we're going to take a closer look. Here is STRAXUS out of the packaging. I think he looks great. Honestly, they did a really nice job with this. You can definitely tell the Galvatron influence that is the base mold, but they changed a lot, honestly. I feel like we'll put a side-by-side comparison up in a minute, but he looks good, and I think the color scheme is really neat as well. I mean, one, the palette is great, but also the paint applications with, like, the dark lines for that kind of cel-shaded effect. And then you can see down here on the knees, they have these kind of, like, little dots to kind of simulate, like, the pulp of the original, like, 80s newspaper comics. I think that's really cool. That's definitely a neat effect. You have a nice, like, red matte finish here. And then you have a little bit more of those dots here on kind of, like, the pectorals. All that is really, really neat. I think the head sculpt looks really good. I love the black. I think that's really cool. The black eyes, the Decepticon symbol. I just like the design of the head. I mean, obviously that comes from the comics, but like just the way they decided to not really give him like a lower jaw, but instead he just has those kind of coils there, which kind of act as his mouth. I think that's really neat. You have some more of that black here on the forearm and the back of the hand. Really nice kind of metallic silver axe weapon here, which works. And then you have this cannon. Now, I thought there was a way to attach it to his forearm, but he's just got this peg here and this similar peg to have him hold it in his hand. So, unfortunately, no way to attach it to the forearm. These pieces here, even though they kind of hang out, I like the way that they kind of like swivel and then kind of like notch in. Like they don't peg in, but because they have that little divot and that circle just kind of perfectly sits in there, I think that works well. Even have little wheels here, which is nice. Nice solid legs, nothing hollow. I really don't notice any hollow pieces. I mean, these little skirt pieces, but that's really not a big deal. You can move this so that you can move the legs around. We'll show that off in a minute. But yeah, just overall, I think the paint scheme and the way they did that kind of comic book cell shading and the little dots for the pulp, I think that just really works well. Now, one thing I will say, in the packaging, you do have to flip out the heels. So he will come packaged like this, and I'm thinking to myself, doesn't he have heels? Ah, yes, now I remember. They are underneath. So flip those heels out so you can get that stability. But yeah, he's a really cool looking dude. So before we get into articulation and everything, let's just do a real quick comparison here with Kingdom Galvatron. So you can see, like, yes, these shoulder pad pieces are fairly similar, but they are remolded a little bit because he has those kind of tab pieces on the side that Galvatron does not have. You can see that the chest is completely different. The crotch piece is completely different. I think these side skirt pieces are the same. I think the legs are probably the thighs are actually the same, but you can see that the shins and everything there are remolded. The feet are the same. Let's see, forearms, arms. The forearms are remolded because they're blockier, but I would say these pieces are probably direct carryovers. Obviously, the tread pieces are different. This piece here on the back is different, but this piece inside here is the same. So, and the back of the legs here, these are the same. So there is definitely some similarities. You can tell that they're mold brothers, but I mean, when you put them next to each other, they do not look like the same figure. I mean, they really don't. They changed a lot here, and I think they did a really nice job. So just wanted to do that little side-by-side comparison there, just so you could really see how much they changed. I mean, direct carryover, probably some of the inside pieces, probably the top of the shoulders down to the elbow, maybe the thighs, and like some of the leg, probably the base of the leg, but you can see the shins have been, and then the feet are probably, so like less than half. Honestly, they did a pretty cool job with this, and putting them next to each other, again, they look completely separate. So I removed the weapon so we can get into the articulation here, starting with the head. It's on a ball joint. You can get a little bit of front and back and the tiniest little bit of side to side, but mostly it's just going to spin side to side for you. Technically, the shoulders, I believe they're supposed to be like this because there's kind of a little notch for these tabs, but if you wanted to bring these out and kind of move these around, you can. I like the look of them straight up, and like I said, you can see how there's kind of that notch there for that piece to kind of sit in. So I believe they're supposed to be straight up like this, but you do have a little bit of room to move them around if you prefer. Shoulder, swivel, and hinge. You have a swivel at the bicep there. Double jointed elbows, mostly for transformation, but excellent articulation for robot mode. You have a wrist swivel. You do have a waist swivel, but it's kind of impeded by the backpack piece, but you can move it around a little bit. If we move the skirts out of the way, we can get a pretty good range of motion for the hips. You can even move this up a little bit more, so you can kick pretty far forward, pretty far back, and we'll probably have to move the arm out of the way, but pretty far out to the side as well. So good range of motion on the hips there. Thigh swivel, 90 degrees at the knee. Ankle tilt, pretty good, no problem there. Move this all back down. So yeah, really nice range of articulation for this guy. You can store the weapons here on the back, so you might have to move this up a little bit, kind of pop this up more so like that. But you can take the axe, and you can see this tab right here can peg in right here. So you can pop that on if you would like to store that there on his back. Or you can take the gun and use the circular peg right below that long square peg, or rectangular peg, and store that. Unfortunately, you can't store both at the same time, so it's an either-or situation, which is a bit of a bummer, but not that big a deal. And then kind of pop this back there. But yeah, it's nice that he has weapon storage. Would be nice if he could do both, but still looks really cool. I like when the light kind of catches those dots on the pectorals. I just think that's so cool. But let's go ahead, let's get into his transformation. If you've transformed any of the versions of Galvatron that have come before, you probably will have a familiarity with this. It's not too different. We're going to start by flipping those heels up into the bottom of the feet, like so. Come around to the back, and you have these little pieces here that are going to flip open, and then you can see that there's kind of like a little square there, and there's a little tab here, and this is going to come and just make this peg against the side of the leg, like that. I don't really know what this adds to the stability, but they have you do it, and it is kind of necessary, but I don't really know what the point of it is. But we will straighten out the legs, we will turn them towards each other, and then we will snap them together like so. So these will kind of peg into each other as well, so you have to be careful with that. And then I always have trouble with this connection. There's a tab here with the two legs, and it always gives me trouble. But once you eventually get it in, it should stay together pretty well. And if you want, you could stand them there like that. It's kind of funny. We're going to take the hands here and fold them into the forearms, like so. We are going to take the forearms, and at that double jointed elbow, you can see that there's a big tab right here. That's going to tab in right there. So just go ahead and do that. And then this will actually kind of open up, swivel down, and continue to swivel around, and then this tab here will tab in right there. So this will come around and tab in like that, which I think is really cool. I love the way that that does that. It makes a really nice tight connection here, and you have some really nice blue paint up in here, which I think looks really nice. So we're going to do that again over here, bring this up, tab that in, bring this down, swivel, and then tab that in, and then just kind of rock these out to the side here like so. You can kind of bring these side skirts out like this. And then this is where it gets interesting. It was the same for Kingdom Galvatron. You kind of take all these bits and move them all the way around. You'll see what I mean. So unhook this, kind of bring this down. This is going to pop out like that. Then you're going to kind of lift this up like so. And oh, I'm sorry, we have to disconnect the arms first. So these red sections here, you're going to lift. How does this connect? This will come away, there we go, and kind of bring this out and down. Let that hang out down there like that. So unhook that and bring this down. Come along, there we go. All right, so now that these are hanging out down here, now we can start to flip this part all around. So this will come up, the head will kind of sink back into this cavity here, and then you drop the chest section down like this, which will allow this to close back up over the head. Then you're going to take the legs and kind of get them back out of the way, just rock them back on the hip joints. And then this section will come all the way down like this. So you might have to rock these back even further, but get that to kind of be horizontal like that. And then this is going to come up, take this piece, flip this up, and then there is a tab slot right there, which is going to tab onto this little spot right here. So this comes up and tabs onto there, like so. And then there are two tab slots right here and here that will tab onto these spots here on the back of the legs. So this will come up and tab in there. So it's kind of weird to me that like this whole spot was kind of back all the way like this, and then everything kind of flipped forward and back and then down again. It's just kind of crazy the way that it works out. So then you're going to take these. So bring this down. There is a tiny tab right here, which is going to tab into the leg. This section here is going to clip onto this section right there. And then this little tab slot there will tab onto this. So I'll show you what I mean as this goes. But bringing this down, this connects into the leg. Then this has to come down. Hold on, I'm doing this wrong. You can go ahead and tab this in here. Then this folds in. Do I have to move? Oh, I have to wait until I bring these back like this. No, I'm definitely missing something. Hold on. This goes like this. That tab's in there. I know these come in. Okay, it's the connection here. That comes in and connects onto this piece like that. There we go. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I know this connects. What am I doing wrong? So let's try this again. So we're going to move this out of the way. This is going to come up. And this tab here is going to tab into that little spot right there. So this comes in, that tab's in there. This tabs in there like that. And then this section right here, if I can get in a little bit closer and not have the shadow cast on it, but okay, you can kind of see that little notch right there. That comes in and clicks in right there so that these two kind of touch down there. There we go. Now we are good. So once all that is tabbed in together, you're pretty much done at this point. You're going to come to the back here and kind of bring this section of the legs down and then use your ankle tilt again to kind of straighten that out until that kind of balances. Let me recenter this. So maybe put this on a bit of an angle. And then we're going to take the cannon and peg this into the front. And then we're going to take the axe and peg this back in like we were storing it in the robot mode. So pop this on top. And then they have you just fold these up just for a little bit of distinction. But there we go. This is STRAXUS cannon mode, alt mode, vehicle mode, whatever term you'd like to use. This is what STRAXUS transforms into. So here is STRAXUS's alt mode. It's cool. I like it. I think it definitely looks like it appeared on the packaging. Apparently you can just fly around like this. I think the cannon looks good. Again, you have that nice kind of cel-shaded look with the black there. Some nice paint here on the front, which you don't really see in the robot mode. That's all really nicely detailed. Those wheels are still in play. I don't think there's wheels back here, but even still, it kind of rolls decently enough. I think it looks kind of neat. Just for fun, here is a side-by-side comparison with Galvatron. And I feel like they look different enough. Like, you can see the differences in terms of, like, this is kind of wider and it kind of looks like wings. But, like, Galvatron had those tank treads so that it definitely, you know, doesn't look like it's a flying vehicle. And I guess we can bring this down a little bit more. There we go. Maybe something like that. So even in the alt modes, I feel like they look different enough. Like the shaping, you know, even though you can definitely see where they share the same transformation, I think, you know, it looks different enough that it feels, you can tell that they share, again, molding, but this one is definitely a ground cannon, and this kind of could be like some kind of flight vehicle of some kind. Especially you can see like all the differences in this area. This is a little bit more streamlined. And I think it kind of helps having this all be the same color, because it kind of makes it all kind of blend together a little bit more. With Galvatron, you have the gray and the purple, and so it doesn't feel as streamlined. Like, honestly, the more I look at this, it kind of looks like a disjointed mess, but it's not. But compared to this, which seems so like the colors are streamlined and this is more contoured, I just feel like this looks a little bit better than Galvatron. I mean, I think this is still a really good Galvatron figure. I don't know if they're going to try to do a Studio Series 86 and update this at all, or, you know, maybe they'll just tool it a little differently, or maybe just give it a different paint scheme. I don't know. I don't know if they'll try to do an all-new mold. I probably would guess that they will not. But, you know, I think this still kind of works. It's not perfect, but it definitely the best we had gotten at the time, and I still think is the best we've gotten so far. And I don't remember if this plastic was supposed to be, like, frosted like that in that section, or if something has happened to mine over time. I really don't know, but the rest of it's fine, so it makes it seem like it's intentional, but it also looks like maybe it's not. I don't know. But in any case, wanted to do the side-by-side comparison. I mean, putting them next to each other, I think STRAXUS looks better. Not to put down Galvatron, but I do think this looks better. Honestly, STRAXUS is a delight. I really love this figure. I always thought I would like it, but having it in hand and checking it out, I've really, really come to love this figure. I don't have a huge connection to him from the comics. I did read through the Marvel comics at some point years ago. I don't remember a ton, especially with these comic-specific characters, but this is a really good use of the Galvatron mold. It really improves upon it, I think. They did a really nice job, remolded a ton of it. Everything feels a little bit more streamlined, especially in the vehicle mode. I just think everything, flows together a little better. The cohesive color scheme works a lot better as well. The accessories look good. Even the giant kibble pieces on the back of the forearms don't bother me because I think they work pretty well. I love the color scheme. I love the paint applications, giving it that kind of cel-shaded comic, pulp. Like, I love that here on the pectorals and on the kneecaps and everything like that. Just, it's really well done. It's a really nice looking figure of a character that doesn't get a lot of love very often. I think the last time we saw a STRAXUS figure was back in like the Red Box Generation days. That probably was maybe even 10 years ago. No, it couldn't have been that. It could have been longer. Yeah, I want to say over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. That's kind of crazy. In any case, this is a really nice update for this character. I think they did a really nice job, and I definitely recommend checking it out. I can totally understand if you don't really want to get involved in the other comic editions, because you might already have those molds, but this is definitely one to check out and add to the collection. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.